You know, the more I see of Donald Trump and the more I see of Hillary Clinton, I basically say to hell with both of them. You know, I find myself hoping that the Republicans come up with a third party candidate, and I find myself hoping that either Clinton gets indicted for crimes because of that damn server, or that the Democrats come up with another candidate. Now, it's often been said that when there's a third party running, that it has absolutely no chance of succeeding in winning the presidency of the United States. I wonder, however, if two additional candidates got in there, one a conservative from the Republican Party and one a true progressive from the Democratic Party, I wonder how things would fare then. Now, the following video clip is going to have a Trump surrogate, which is Paul Manafort, and he's going to spin like crazy for Trump. And then you're going to have Dianne Feinstein, and she's going to spin like crazy for Clinton. And after listening to both of them, you know, I'm like totally disgusted by the lack of respect for the intelligence of the regular voter in this country. So anyway, we're going to start off with Manafort, and then we're going to go to Feinstein.
Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton started the week off by making history, setting a new low as the two most unpopular presidential frontrunners since the dawn of political polling. And by the end of the week, they appear to have actually made it worse, both now facing real questions that cut to the core of their campaigns and whether they can unite their parties and the country this fall.
We got the nomination yesterday, right? So we have the nomination. So we're not
It was the week Donald Trump went over the top, hitting the magic number of 1,237 delegates to clinch the Republican nomination.
We've won the nomination. Big. By numbers that you can't believe. We were supposed to be in July in Cleveland fighting for our lives.
But it didn't exactly look like a victory lap. First, Trump continued to wage war on his own party, taking swipes at New Mexico's popular Republican governor, Susana Martinez.
We have to get your governor to get going. She's got to do a better job, okay? Hey!
Now that is an attack on the governor. He specifically says she has to do a better job, not that we have to improve things in the state and not mention her name. So that's an attack.
Maybe I'll run for governor of New Mexico. I'll get this place going.
Then more reports of campaign turmoil at Trump Tower, including the abrupt ouster of his recently hired political director. And Trump once again failed to secure the endorsement of the most powerful Republican in Washington.
What I'm most concerned about is making sure that we actually have real party unity, not pretend party unity.
Finally, rampant protests outside his rallies brought out the police in full riot gear. But it was Hillary Clinton who actually had the worst week. She's on the defensive against a scathing State Department Inspector General's report that says her email practices violated government policy.
The rules have been clarified since I left about the practice. Having said that, I have said many times it was a mistake.
She broke the rules, and she just won't say it in plain English that she knew the rules and she broke them.
Despite being just 73 delegates away from clinching the Democratic nomination, Hillary Clinton still hasn't put away Bernie Sanders in California, where the race is now statistically tied. Meanwhile, Sanders has set his sights on Trump, the two challenging each other to a debate before Trump bowed out.
And I say to Donald Trump, you're a big macho guy. You have any guts? Come on down and let's debate the issues.
And joining us now, the chairman and chief strategist of the Trump campaign, Paul Manafort. Mr. Manafort, thank you for joining us. And your candidate has now clinched the nomination earlier than anybody expected and setting a record in the process. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
But I want to ask you, even as he's done this week, Donald Trump went out and we saw he took a shot at Susana Martinez, criticizing her. Even Mitt Romney saying he choked like a dog, walks like a penguin. Took a shot at Jeb Bush still. What is the strategy here? Is any Republican who criticizes Trump or his policies going to be face this kind of fire?
No,
Basically, the answer is yes.
this has been greatly blown out of proportion. I mean, Governor Romney, is jealous the fact that the first businessman to be nominated by the Republican Party with record numbers is Mr. Trump, and that with a chance of winning the White House. Romney had a chance to win it. He lost it. He sees that Donald Trump has not only won the nomination, he's won it with record numbers in the primaries, and he's now leading in some of the polls already. You know, the Governor Martinez thing, where the focus was on the wrong thing. Mr. Trump was talking about, as he does always when he goes anywhere, the problems in government that aren't working, that aren't helping the people. And he was.
All right. See, and now that's the bullshit, because yes, he at times does mention problems in individual states, but, and it's a big but, he never mentions the Republican governor that controls the state where there are problems. This is the first time that he has mentioned a Republican governor, and in this case, she happens to be a female Hispanic, as to her doing a poor job. So you find where he said anything bad about the governor of Indiana, the governor of Michigan. Hell, after Bobby Jindal got out of the race, he hasn't said anything bad about him or any other Republican governor. And God knows there are major problems, especially in those southern states that are controlled by Republican governors. So what Paul Manafort is saying just is not true.
Talking about the welfare system and how it was out of control in New Mexico. And just as he criticizes issues in Washington, when he's in the states, he talks about things that need to be done to improve the situation for the voters and for the people, because that's why he's running for president. The fact that it was a Republican governor of New Mexico is not the point. The point is that the system was broken. If it was a Democratic governor, he'd have been saying the same thing.
For sure, if it was a Democratic governor, we could all understand that, but it was a Republican governor, and he mentioned her by name. So what Paul Manafort is sprouting, it just is not going to, it just can't swallow it.
He's out there representing the interests and talking about what needs to be done and why, as president, he will change things and make people's lives better. That's what it's all about. Again, the media is trying to always find issues where there aren't issues. They said he couldn't, he was not a serious candidate. They said he couldn't achieve 30, 40, 50%. They said he couldn't win the nomination on the first ballot. They said he wasn't going to be able to win a general election. He wasn't going to be able to unite the party. All of these things are wrong. He's proven them all wrong in record time.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we clinched the nomination the first week in May.
So,
All right. So apparently Paul doesn't think it's an issue, but Governor Martinez thought it was an issue enough to issue a statement, and the Republican Governors Association thought it was enough of an issue for them to issue a statement. So apparently it is an issue.
so can you help me understand, though, what happened with this debate that sure looked like it was going to happen between Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders? Here's what Mr. Trump himself said earlier this week.
I want to debate him so badly. I'd love to debate Bernie.
Bernie's not going to win, but I'd debate him anyway if they wanted to put up money for charity.
Okay, and that basically was a lie.
Now suddenly we hear Donald Trump is unwilling to debate Bernie Sanders. What's going on? Is he afraid of facing off with Bernie Sanders?
He's not.
Hell yeah, because Bernie Sanders would blow him up on the issues. So, and Trump has nothing to gain by debating Bernie Sanders. He basically opened his mouth, threw stuff out there, didn't expect to get called on it, got called on it, and then backed out.
Afraid to face off with Bernie Sanders. He's the Republican nominee now. The question should be, why is Hillary Clinton afraid to debate
That's true.
Bernie Sanders? She's the one in the Democratic primary with him, and the point Mr. Trump was trying to make was the Democratic system is rigged. It's been rigged from the beginning for Hillary Clinton. Bernie Sanders has been winning primaries and losing delegates. Now you've got California, a state where Clinton thought she was going to win. The race has gotten very close. Bernie Sanders wants to debate Hillary Clinton. Bernie Sanders should have that chance.
Absolutely, especially given the fact that Hillary Clinton agreed to debate Bernie Sanders in California as one of the 4 additional debates that person, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, finally had to relent on, since there were only originally going to be 4 debates.
Mr. Trump was saying, debates are important. He would have debated Bernie Sanders if Bernie Sanders were the nominee.
But
Hillary Clinton should be debating him today.
But at the very least, this is a flip-flop. I mean, you heard the tape. He said over and over again that he wanted to debate Bernie Sanders. And then suddenly it was
And
no.
he does, but
No, he doesn't, because if he did, that $10 million would materialize so damn fast, it would make your head spin, and it would generate epic ratings for whichever network was able to televise it. And Trump is talking about donating the money to a women's charity. I would think that he would have pushed ahead in order to try to curry at least some favor with women, which he is, so far behind with. But somebody pulled his coattail and told him that Bernie was going to kill him, and he basically just walked away from it, making a feeble excuse. Because he can say that, yes, now he is the nominee, but he knew he was going to be the nominee when he opened his mouth. So that excuse just isn't holding water.
Nothing
he
changed.
does, well, what changed is he became the presumptive nominee, he became the actual nominee of the party between the time he said it and the time it happened.
That's a weak excuse, because he knew he was going to be the nominee.
But that's not the point. The point is Hillary Clinton is the one who should be debating Senator Sanders. Hillary Clinton is the one who is in the Democratic primary. When the general election happens, when there's a Democratic nominee, Mr. Trump will debate whoever emerges from the system.
Okay, so let's talk about the next big decision that Donald Trump has to make, a running mate. Where are you in the process? Has Mr. Trump started interviewing potential running mates yet?
Mr. Trump has said that he wants a vice president who knows Washington, is able to deal with the Congress, and could be viewed as somebody who could be president. He has identified a list of people. He's talking about those lists. He said that it's the qualifications of the candidate that matter, not the gender, not the ethnicity. That doesn't mean there aren't women or Hispanics on the list. It means that he's looking at the qualifications. And he started that process. He's announced that he would announce his candidate sometime around the convention, and we're on track for that to happen.
Is he asking potential running mates as part of the vetting process to turn over their tax returns?
The list of candidates that he will be considering will be fully vetted. The exact process we're not talking about.
Including tax returns?
We're not talking about the process. They will be fully vetted, and he'll be comfortable with the selection as far as the American people is concerned.
Okay, now you mentioned the issue of women and minorities. Of course, in an interview with Howard Feynman of Huffington Post this week, you said that Trump was unlikely to choose a woman or a minority because, in fact, that would be viewed as pandering. What did you mean? How would choosing a woman or a minority be seen as pandering?
Okay, you have to pay specific attention to what he said. He said that he would be unlikely to choose a woman or a minority as a vice presidential running mate. Now, Paul's going to spin away from that.
No, there was another part to it which I actually just said a minute ago. I said Mr. Trump was looking at the qualifications of all the candidates, and that he wouldn't just select someone only on the basis of gender or ethnicity.
That's not what he said. Here he's saying only, as far as just one of the things. In his previous statement that you can play back, he said that he is unlikely to choose a candidate that's either a woman or a minority. Two differences. One word makes a lot of difference.
That's not to say that, because that would be pandering. But the qualifications, if it's a female who's qualified, that's a totally different story. And there are many Republican women who are qualified, and several who might be on the list.
So are you, Mr. Trump had said that he wanted somebody with Washington experience early on. Is that still where you are? Are we likely to see somebody who is either serving in Congress or has served in Congress?
He said Washington experience, people who could work with the Congress, and those are the credentials that he's looking for.
Okay, so I want to ask you about something else that kind of surprised a lot of people in an interview with the Washington Post. Donald Trump brought up the conspiracy theory that Vince Foster was murdered. Of course, he also brought up allegations that Bill Clinton had committed rape back in the 1990s. Are we going to be seeing more of this? Is this the kind of campaign he's going to run?
Well, he didn't say that Bill Clinton had committed it. He was referencing a woman who said that who had a relationship with Bill Clinton.
See, these guys are slippery as hell. He's basically using a third-person proxy to say something that he absolutely wants to say, and that's speaking about Trump. And that potential or conspiracy theory on the Clinton aide committing suicide, that absolutely blew up in his face. And Paul is not going to make any mention of that because that is a highly toxic subject.
The point is, trouble follows the Clintons everywhere. People are frustrated with all of the drama around the Clinton family and the history of the Clinton family. And certainly, if they're going to be back in the political milieu, then their history is relevant to what the American people can expect. The point is that Hillary Clinton is running for president as a team. She said she doesn't even want to handle the economic responsibilities of the job. She wants her husband to do so. The most important job the president has, other than defending the country, she doesn't want to participate in. Mr. Trump has said, okay, if she's going to put off the economic portfolio to her husband, then the whole family's up for discussion.
Okay, one more question before you go. The New York Times reported that some on your campaign staff believe that the campaign headquarters there at Trump Tower has been bugged. What's going on with that?
I don't know who said that. Certainly there are people probably who would like to, because there's a lot of good work going on there, and we've been able to develop a campaign that is cohesive, that's working together, and in a record time, thanks to a great candidate who's got a vision and connected to the American people, put the campaign in a position to win the presidency. So we're continuing to work forward.
But do you believe your campaign headquarters has been bugged?
Do I believe it? No, I don't believe it, but I don't know who said that.
All right, Paul Manafort, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good.
All right, so, I mean, Paul is, well, he's an attorney, and he's really polished as far as dealing with these interviews. But that Trump spin was pretty bad. But as bad as his was, Dianne Feinstein is worse. Here we go.
Yeah.
Now to the Democratic side, where Hillary Clinton is trying to put away Bernie Sanders and at the same time dealing with that scathing report from the State Department's Inspector General on her use of private email while she was Secretary of State. Joining us now is Senator Dianne Feinstein, the senior senator from the state of California and one of Hillary Clinton's strongest supporters in Congress. Senator Feinstein, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I want to ask you about that Inspector General report. For more than a year, Secretary Clinton has said over and over again that she did not break the rules. But this report makes it clear that she never asked for permission for her private email arrangement, and that if she had, quote, the State Department did not and would not approve her exclusive reliance on a personal email account to conduct department business. Has she been misleading the public on this for well over a year?
The answer is yes, even though Dianne Feinstein just said no. And that's a bunch of crap. Now, here's Feinstein's spin, and it absolutely makes no sense.
I don't think so. I think questions are asked and answers are sometimes taken out of context. Hillary Clinton broke no law. I read all 42 pages of the report.
But Hillary Clinton said that her use of a private server basically was approved. The report says absolutely the opposite. So which one is lying? Either she's lying or the report is lying. I believe the report.
The conclusion of the report does not say that. What it says is that the department does not handle these electronic platform operations well and needs to do better. Hillary herself has differently. I mean, what do people want? This goes on and on and on. We're reaching the final stages of a primary. Hillary Clinton is going to win this primary. I say enough is enough. Let's get to the major problems facing this nation.
All right, in answer to her question, what do people want? People want a leader that is open, transparent, and honest, and not a spinner. None of those four things does Hillary Clinton fit. So there's your answer.
But Mrs. Clinton has said that it was widely known that she was using her personal email. But if you look at this report, it says that when State Department staffers expressed concerns about the arrangement, their supervisor, quote, instructed the staff never to speak of the secretary's personal email system again. That sure sounds like somebody trying to hide something.
Exactly.
Oh, wait a second. I don't believe she was trying to hide anything. I've known Hillary for a quarter of a century. Let me tell you what I do think. I think this is a woman who wants a little bit of a private life.
And if she wanted a little bit of a private life, she would have used a separate email that she legally could have maintained her privacy. And in her political life, State Department life, she should have used the government email system since she was the highest ranking official in the State Department. So no, yes, it was a question of privacy, but it was also a question of controlling all of the information that she was privy to and communicated about. So, you know, you lost on that one. If privacy was the issue, she would have used that private server that she kept on her own premises for all of her private stuff, and she would have used the government server for all of her official government business. Game, set, and match.
She wants to be able to communicate with husband, with daughter, with friends, and not have somebody looking over her shoulder into her emails. Having said that, it is what it is. And, you know, I don't think we should make a federal case over it.
So, unfortunately, the FBI is making a federal case out of it.
Bernie Sanders has seemed more willing to talk about this lately. Just the other day, he was asked about the possibility that Hillary Clinton could be indicted before the Democratic convention, and he had this to say.
Yeah, I'm not saying it is. But if something like that were to happen, would that impact the electorate? Of course it would. And would that be taken into consideration by the delegates? Of course it would.
So he's suggesting that if that were to happen, that would be something that could sway a lot of the superdelegates. I assume he's suggesting to support him instead of Hillary Clinton.
And he's absolutely right. If she gets indicted, she's going to lose superdelegates like it's going out of style. And the Rules Committee for the Democratic Party would probably generate a rule that would unbind all of the currently bound delegates based on the criminal charges levied against her.
Well, I would say I profoundly disagree. I believe that she needs effectively 73 more delegates. She will have that after the election in New Jersey, before the polls close in California.
Now you have a new poll in California that shows this race is a dead heat. Hillary Clinton is even spending 6 figures on advertising in the Democratic primary. Is Bernie Sanders doing damage to Hillary Clinton, hurting her chances against Donald Trump by fighting this hard, this long?
Now, Dianne Feinstein is not going to straight out say that Bernie should get out of the race, but she's going to suggest it subtly. Listen to her response.
Well, Bernie, look, as been said, Senator Sanders has the right to run, no question. He ought to be able to read the signposts as well as anybody else.
Translation, you're not going to win, so get out.
And if he did that, he would know that it's all but over. So the question comes, why doesn't he do those things which bring all Democrats together so that we can have a convention that's positive, not negative?
Translation, stop attacking Hillary because you're not going to win.
So that we can have a platform that all this great, wide, broad-based party can say, this is my platform, I am proud of it.
Translation, if you get out of the race, we're going to throw you some bones as far as the platform is concerned, so you can get some of your issues in there and claim at least a partial victory.
And the Democrats together can march to victory in November. I know the passion of a campaign. I know when you're in it and you just keep go until the last hour is there. Well, the last hour is close by. It would be, I think, a very positive gesture for reconciliation if Senator Sanders were to consider putting his campaign in the very real perspective that it's in.
Translation, you're losing, you're gonna lose, get the heck out.
And doing those things that can bring the party together.
So now let me remind you guys of one thing. Back in 2008, Hillary Clinton, knowing that she was going to lose, had a press conference where she intimated that strange things could happen, such as people getting assassinated, referring to the Bobby Kennedy assassination, and she caught hell on that one. And if we're going to relate that to what's going on now, Bernie basically has not said anything, but he potentially could be hanging on, waiting for that FBI investigation to be concluded, and if they do in fact decide to indict her for on criminal charges, he's going to be sitting there waiting to pick up the pieces. But to his credit, he hasn't said that.
Before you go, Donald Trump spent a lot of time in your state. He says that California will be up for grabs this year. Do you think that's possible? Could California go to the Republicans for the first time since 1988?
Well, I'd be prepared to bet on it, and I would bet that would not happen. There have been about 2 million new registrations. There are 7 million to 4 million Democrats to Republicans. So I don't think that will happen.
All right, Senator Feinstein, thank you for joining us on this Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. And
yeah, now listening to both of these people, Dianne Feinstein and Paul Manafort, if there were a decent third-party candidate, or if a conservative Republican that had some sense, like a Rand Paul, jumped in here, and Bernie decided to go third party, that would be one hell of a race, because the two guys that more than likely are going to face off against each other, my basic comment is the hell with both of them.